Hey guys, what's up? So I wanted to make a video on the difference between codependency and tolerating, okay? Codependency is when, you feel like you cannot live without that person. Like, there's no way you can live without that person. You know what I mean? No matter how badly they treat you like shit, which some people are addicted to suffering. So, if somebody's being nice to them, maybe they can't handle it, which is fucked up, right? But that's how a lot of people are. That's how I was, I feel like. Because my whole life was chaos. So it's like chaos attracts chaos. And it's like I had a normal relationship. I had a high school sweetheart. I had that. And then I graduated. He was already graduated. He was like a year older than me, or in school he graduated a year before I did, whatever. And it's not like it wasn't a toxic relationship, but it wasn't really he'd take me out, he'd buy me presents, and I only say that because I never really got that afterwards. Like, I did, but I didn't, and if I did, it would have been my money, like giving it to my ex, like giving him money to get me something, but like most of it would be spent on drugs, and then the other half would be like spent, yeah, so... So it was like an actual, we would go on dates, experience. I didn't have to drive, he drove, and, we met other people, we went to other things, we hung out, it was the closest thing that I know to a normal relationship experience, because now I know what would be the difference and what is not, is not. Okay. Sorry, I had to change the story in my head. I've definitely put this on other videos, but I want to remind you, or whoever, because I was reminded today. And I always say, change the story, right? Change the story. As soon as you notice yourself thinking negatively, self-criticizing yourself, inner criticizing, whatever, talking to yourself badly, saying, oh, you're so stupid for doing that, stuff like that. Change the story, switch it up into a positive, oh, you're such an idiot, I'm such an idiot for thinking that. Oh, next time I can think something different. At least I know that doesn't work. You know what I mean? Change it. So I've said in other videos, the subconscious mind does not know. Don't, not, couldn't, shouldn't, wouldn't, all of those words, the things that have not in it, your subconscious mind does not. Your subconscious mind hears that, not whatever. Your subconscious mind doesn't hear that. So when you say, it hears the word want, though. So if you say, I do not want that, you are actually saying to the universe, I want that. So if you're saying, I don't want to be treated like shit, the universe is hearing you say, I want to be treated like shit. So when you notice yourself say, I don't want something, change it. In that instant. Unless, well, either way, I mean, I was going to say, unless you, stop and you don't do the 17 seconds above, but there's no way. You probably didn't complain about it, and the seed wasn't already, nurtured and grown, and, it's not a weed yet. It's still blossoming. So, anyways, codependency, in my perspective... Codependency, in my perspective, is when you make up excuses for saying why you cannot do something, why you cannot leave a person. There's all these excuses you can do. There's always a way. And again, I say in all my videos, just because I know this, just because I say it, doesn't mean that I always am able to remember, it doesn't mean that I remember every single time when something like this happens that I don't follow it, okay? So even when I watch these videos after, it reminds me too. Because I've said again, I am mirroring myself right now. I'm looking at myself, telling me what I need to hear as well. Okay. Codependency. You can just rely on that person for your emotions, their love, you know what I mean? But if they're treating you like shit, again, addiction to suffering. So tolerating something is when, you know, it's just like, no, like, you set boundaries. You're able to say no. You love yourself enough to not have to depend on that person for anything. Not your happiness, and nothing, okay? You're able to walk away easily and not be attached. Even if you have attachments to them, you're still able to say no if they cannot respect that. That's actually a way to know where that person stands with you and how they actually feel. Because if you said no to somebody that really cared about you, they'd be like, okay, well, let's work on this, or they'd accept it, right? So when you're codependent on somebody, obviously it's not freaking healthy, but it can go to the point where, you know, you fight about things. But it's like, when you're codependent, you can have that codependency on not wanting to be alone, right? So you settle. I've been in situations where I feel like I am right now, actually. I'm not going to lie. Like, the person that I was dealing with, it's not like I didn't love him. I still do love him. It's more like when you invest so long into something, and sometimes when you are older, you don't want to start all over again. You don't want to do the whole dating thing again. It's like, you're just like, I have somebody, I don't have to worry about it. I don't have to, like, you know, if they're not talking to you, if they're treating you like shit, if they're doing this, that, and the other thing, it's like, are you really happy? Does that person really make you happy? Or is it just like an excuse to not go out there and find somebody else? Because that's the thing also. It's like, when you know what you don't want, you find out what you do want. So if this person's doing things that you don't like, switch the story. Find it what you do like. So if you're like, oh my God, I don't like blah, 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 blah. Change the story and be like, I would like this. You know, you do the opposite in a relationship. That's how the universe will attract. So if you're saying, I don't like him because I don't like him because he's treating my shit. I'm like trying not to keep saying treating me like shit, because it's like the same thing. I don't like him because all he keeps doing is paying attention to other people besides me and putting them as priorities. Okay? As soon as you hear yourself say that, like complaining about something that you don't want, the more you focus on something you don't want, the more you focus on a problem, the less the universe is going to be able to give you the way to see a solution. So, again, this is not something that I do all the time at all. If you have a problem, instead of focusing on the problem, try to focus on a solution, right? Pretty much if somebody's treating you like shit, you set your boundaries, you tell them, you know, blah, blah, blah. If you can't abide to this, then I don't want to be with you, and you walk away. Even a friendship, your parents, you know, narcissist relationship, whatever it is. It shows your integrity for yourself. It shows your level of respect for yourself. Because if you can't respect yourself, nobody's going to respect you. You know, so if you're letting somebody give you breadcrumbs, if you're allowing somebody to have third-party situations and you're just like, okay, it's okay, but those are totally against your values. It's like, are you just doing it because you don't want to be alone? You don't want to start all over again. You're codependent on whatever it is. You're codependent on the struggle. You're codependent on what it is you're familiar with. And if you've been in all bad relationships, or you've had chaos in your life and the abnormal is now normal, it's going to be more difficult to accept that you want better for yourself. And some people either don't believe that they deserve better, they don't want better, they don't, you know, think they're worthy of love. And it's like, if you don't think you're worthy of love, that means that you aren't worthy of your own love. Okay? So when they really do say you can't really be with somebody before you love yourself, or, you can't really expect respect if you don't respect it. Like, it is true, because you're putting your emotions, your feelings, your thoughts, your actions, your events out into the universe, and it's going to come back tenfold. Remember that. It's going to come back tenfold. So you can either believe in winning the lottery, or having money, or being generous and donating, or helping a friend, or, just being nice and doing good things. Doesn't have to be money. It can just be good things in general. You're going to have abundance come back to you in tenfold. If it does not, and you're like, I'm doing all these really, like, this happens with me too. You're like, oh my God, I'm doing this, I'm doing that, I'm doing the other thing. Why aren't my blessings coming? You get a blessing every day, no matter what. You get a blessing every day just by waking up, just by being able to breathe, just by being healthy. Some people aren't as lucky to have a pillow to go to sleep with. In the present moment, you are more able to appreciate these things. You're able to embrace them. Even if you're in a bad relationship, even if you are going through something and struggling, embrace the experience, because the experience is what's going to help you grow. And that's how you can transform into knowing you deserve better no matter what the circumstances are. It's harder for me to understand better when you're married and you're a housewife or something and you're depending on somebody else for the money, because I was always the one that people were depending on. I was always the one taking care of everybody else. I was always the one doing all the errands, working. My ex helped me work because I had my own business, and he helped me, but he wasn't doing ads. He wasn't doing walkthroughs. He wasn't driving. He wasn't managing you know what I mean? So he throws it in my face like, oh, well, I did this. It's like, yeah, but you were also high half the time, and I had to go over your work. And because you were high, you ended up, well, see, I can't blame him. Because I brought you and let you work with me, I ended up losing my business and having a bad rep. Yeah. So I didn't do it for years. But I still had people messaging me for it, and I still do it. But I do different things now. I do shit like this, and I do tarot cards, and I do parties and I do all that now. Channeling, talking to passed over loved ones. That's what I want to do, so that's what I'm gonna do. If somebody messages me and they're like, hey, okay, extra money, let's, whatever. So, I'm good with what I have right now, you know what I mean? But if something comes along and I can have more, you're gonna take it. And you're gonna appreciate it, and you're gonna embrace the situation. It's always a lesson. You can always learn something out of something, okay? Tolerating, putting up boundaries. You gotta realize that, you can't control people. The only thing that you can control is, your attitude, your reactions of, being kind. If you want to study for tests to get good grades, if you want to work out in order to get a healthier body, if you want to have good people around you, you are able to pick your friends, if you want to have free time to yourself, you will make the time for yourself. If you want to try again, respecting, being accountable, accepting that it was your fault and being able to say, hey, I'm sorry, it was my fault. It was a mistake, How you respond, saying, working hard or not working at all, how you respond to challenges, how you want to spend your free time, taking care of yourself, loving yourself, forgiving yourself or forgiving other people, taking care of your chores, doing your responsibilities, doing your errands, paying your bills, being responsible, and then there's other things that you can't do, choose for or force somebody to love you, or making others apologize to you and getting your justice. You might have to give you your own justice, the weather, you know what I mean? There's things that only God can control, even though the weather people are oh, there's a huge fucking storm and it's sunny day, summer, and it's the winter. You know what I mean? I love that. I love when that happens. Everybody's oh, there's going to be a storm. I'm yeah, there won't be. No, they're always wrong. But, you can't have somebody else try. You can't have somebody else forgive you. You can't have somebody else be honest with you or be nice as you are. You can't have somebody control somebody to take care of you the way you want to, or their skin color, you know what I mean? Like their height, the way their eyes are, like anything stupid like that. Like you can't control, like death. You know, you can't really interfere with that stuff. So there's things that you can control and there's things that you can't. So there's things that people aren't going to do to you and it's out of your control. So what is in your control is, are you going to let them treat you like that? Are you going to let those things slide? Can you compromise? Can you sacrifice things? Can you whatever? And if you can't, you set the boundaries. If people keep doing it, you know how they feel, you know, because if they can't, they would talk to you about it first. If they freak out and start fighting with you, there you go. That's another way to know how people actually feel about you. Because if they respect you enough and they care about you enough, they're going to be like, okay, you know, I respect that. I'll work on that. Everybody feels loved a different way. Everybody feels loved a different way. Whether it's being showered in gifts, whether it's being talked, like present with the person, whether it's being affectionate or helping, like supporting somebody. There's love languages, okay? And you can either be like a gold digger kind of love thing, presents thing, gifts, or it can be in the way of that person was thinking of me and they got me that because of it. Like they were at a store and they saw something that they knew that I would like. They were thinking about me. It doesn't have to be like codependent on money, you know, so there's a difference. But then you have the things where you say you like something when you don't, just so you can make that person happy, you know, like say you say that you, I can't even think. say you like soccer, whatever. That's what my kid does. Say you like soccer, and that person's like, "Oh, me too." Da da da. And you're like, "Oh, really? Like, do you want to go to a game with me?" And they're like, "Yeah, yeah." And then like they go and they're miserable because they really don't like soccer, and you find out like down the road because they just put on a show. Which can be narcissism too. They just put on a show and said that they liked everything that you liked, so you'd be with them. You know what I mean? And that can also be like having to accept, you know, problem. Another thing, this is a problem with me. This is a cycle that I had to learn about myself. I said it in another video. It was like a reading that turned into a guru. Like, it did. Like, I was doing a reading and then it turned into like a something kind of talk like this. I worked my ass off in my last relationship. In my relationship with my son's father, all I wanted was a family, and that's a big value of mine. And that's the thing. If I settled for somebody that didn't have the same values as me, it's like, what are you doing? Like, they don't want kids. They don't like your kid. Like, you know what I mean? Like, you just, like, who gives a shit if they're good in bed? Who gives a shit if they're fucking hot? Like, who gives a shit? It doesn't matter. Like, it doesn't. Like, it doesn't matter. Because that's the thing. If you tell the universe, like, you know, you're thinking to yourself, I don't want somebody that's going to cheat on me. I want a relationship that's going to be healthy for me. Change the story. The universe will hear it. They'll respond to the difference. Okay? So if they see you not accepting the things that you do not want, they're going to start giving you the things that you do want because they're seeing you're not accepting the things that you don't want that you used to. The more you love yourself, the more love you'll get back. Okay? So if you do that, you'll start attracting people that are like-minded like you, not the people that are going to take advantage of you. If you let people take advantage of you, you're going to keep having people that are taking advantage of you. You know, if you're too nice, you're going to have the people that know you're too nice are attracted to that energy and they're going to take advantage of you. That's why it's like you have to have that balance of being nice and boundaries. Okay? Like there comes a certain time and point where you're just like, I can't do this anymore. And do I actually really love you? Do I actually really want to be with you? Or am I just being scared of being alone? And I just don't feel like starting all over again. Like, you gotta really think, like, do I really want this person? Even though they're treating me like this, do I really want them when they're cheating on me? Do I really want them when they're giving me nothing and I'm giving them everything? Like, do you really want that? Really think about it. Is that what you want? Who cares about that person? It's about you. And it might be hard. It's not easy, believe me. I know. I'm doing it myself. It's not easy to go from toxicity your entire life to healthiness or whatever. And it's like, again, if you invested so much time into this relationship and didn't go anywhere, that's where I was going with it. It's like, with me, it's like I have to win. Not even. Like, I feel like it's like I have to succeed in having a family. I have to succeed in having a relationship because I already failed. But I didn't fail because I worked my ass off. And it wasn't me. I couldn't control the other person. And that's where it comes down to. Are you codependent on that person where you even feel like you have to pretend you're somebody else because you just want them to like you? Or are you strong enough and know that you deserve better where you can transform that energy into I deserve better, so I'm going to go get better? It's not easy. It can be easy, but it also can't. It's all about mindset. And that's why I say change the story, because the more you change the story, the more the story is going to come true. The more the universe is going to give it to you, you know? The more your subconscious mind is, the more the subconscious mind is going to pick up on those energies. Those energies are going to go out into the world, and whatever those energies are, they're going to come back tenfold. Mm-hmm. So you really got to think, does this person make me happy? And then if you say no, then you got to think, like, if you guys are fighting all the time, does that person make you happy? Do you make that person happy? And if they're showing that you don't, why do you think you're there? You're a supply for something. Something. And if they're giving you nothing, it's like, why are you there in general? Like, I had to ask myself that. Why are you doing that? Is it because you don't want a commitment? Is it because you just don't feel like doing it all over again? Is it because you really do love this person? Which it doesn't matter if you do or not. You don't wait around for a motherfucker to not come around you. Like, it's not... No. But you have to realize that. You have to come to a point where you don't tolerate it anymore. Wow. Sorry. I'm sorry, but when you... Never mind. I don't know how old people are going to be watching this. So, if you can see yourself settling for bullshit, that's when you have to start asking these questions. Why? Why am I? Why am I doing this? Is it, again, am I scared of being alone? But if you're already alone and then you're not doing anything with this person and they're ignoring you, you're already alone. So why not just go find somebody else? Or change your energy where somebody will come find you. Because if you don't change your energy, you're just going to get the same fucking bullshit. And that's why people are like, oh my God, this keeps happening. Yeah, because you're not changing it within you. It's not the other fucking person, it's within you. It's like, will you change, like, your values for this person? Why? If you never would expect yourself to be in a third-party situation triangle and accept it, when all you want is a family and a healthy relationship, like your values, you need to go by your values. Don't settle. Because if you settle, that means that person doesn't have boundaries. Unless it's like a different kind of settling. Like, no, it's settling. Settling is the word for settling. So, why are you with that person? Do you really want to be with that person? Do you really want to stay in a job that doesn't make you happy? Do you want to go find another job because you can't tolerate being in a mundane 9-to-5 life, which you're being programmed, by the way, but people don't want to hear that either. They rather just live in fear and not do anything. And that's another thing. It's fear. The unknown, feeling uncomfortable, having to sit with your own feelings. But when you're sitting with your own feelings, start asking yourself questions. The more you ask yourself questions, the better you'll know about yourself. And the more you know about yourself, the better off you are to know what you want and what you don't want and what you will tolerate. Tolerating and codependent are completely different things. How much will you tolerate from a person before you walk away and are able to walk away? Like, able to, because you're, like, done. Like, you respect yourself enough and your integrity, and you have dignity and love yourself enough to be like, I'm better than that. If you can't change that, if you can't respect me, I'm walking away. And be okay with it. It might hurt. It might hurt. But you're getting hurt in general. Wouldn't you rather be alone? I mean, than be with somebody that's not treating you right? Even if you're, like, not with them. The limerence relationship where you think you don't know if you're with somebody or not. Or you're fantasizing about somebody that you're not with. Or you're obsessed about a person or a relationship because it's a trauma bond. The limerence, like you fall in love with somebody that isn't a person that's even in your life. It's limerence relationship. Look it up. It's like when you think you're in a relationship but you're not, but that person, it's like you're talking to a person and they're complaining about this, that, and the other thing, and you're like, okay, so we're breaking up, and they're like, no, don't talk about it like that. So what the fuck are we? You know what I mean? Or, again, I've said this in other videos, when you don't even know you're in a commitment. And, you go on a date with somebody else, and this person's like, you cheated on me. It's like, what are you talking about? What? Like, 2 times it's happened to me. And I've gotten fucked, and I'm the one that got hurt in the long run. But it was my fault, I guess. I mean, there's something inside me in my energy field that is saying, hey, that's okay. Something. But I'm going to be done with this video. Just understand the difference between codependency and being codependent on a person and respecting yourself enough to walk away. Wayne Dwyer, my favorite quote is, be open-minded to everything but attached to nothing. So you can love somebody but still be able to have no attachment where you can walk away and it not be hard. Trauma bonds are limerence. Trauma bonds are limerence. Trauma bonds are when you've had a situation with somebody that, like, you can't let go of, okay? So say you had a miscarriage with somebody. You had that trauma. You went through that trauma with them, So it's like people hold on to that stuff. People hold on to the things that they went through that hurt. And the things that came with it are the people, But sometimes, like, so when I was with my ex, there's some things that I didn't, this is back in the day. This is not me now. There's some things that I didn't understand about not the relationship, but about just certain things that only him I could talk to about it, because he's the only one that understood. You know what I mean? So it's like you have that trauma bond because you feel like you did that, you went through that with somebody, and like it means something to you. And that makes sense. It does. And it's true in a sense. But you don't have that person stay in your life just because you guys went through something that was traumatic. You know what I mean? Like, I had a really good friend a couple of years ago. And I don't even know if it was. My son's father was in jail. And my dog was getting worse and worse and worse with the condition that he had. And I met this kid. He was actually my tattoo artist. But I knew him for like 3 months, maybe 4 months. And he ended up coming with me to put down my dog. Okay. Then he ended up burying my dog in his parents' backyard with all his other deceased pets. Okay. So that's a big thing, you know? But I felt like for the longest time, I owed him to be in his life, to keep him in my life. Like, I felt like I owed it to him. And people do that. That is a huge thing people do. They will do things like that to shove in your face later. He never did. He never did. He never used that against me. He always said to me, if we never talk ever again, you can always still go to my... Sorry. This person is the only person that said, like, anything like, if we never talk again, like, you can always go see Puppy. No matter what. Like, even if we end on bad terms, you can always go see Puppy. And he goes, and even if we end on bad terms, if you call me 5 years down the road and you need help and nobody else can help you, he's like, I will be there as long as I can. Because we had a really close relationship. We weren't boyfriend and girlfriend, but we did go through a lot together and we did have a lot of trauma together. But it's like, it was different. And after, when I walked away, because it did get toxic, after when I walked away, he respected me more and he appreciated me more. And he would tell me, I appreciate you all the time. I adore you, and I know he did. But when you have feelings for somebody, you don't show them if you're like in that limerence thing, or if that person understands codependency and they know that they can get codependent in a relationship. Some people are smart like that. You know what I mean? Like, if it's easier also to be codependent on somebody when you don't know who you are. Like, okay, my room, my house, mainly my room, the house out in the living room really isn't a mess because people are out there. They're not really in my room. So my room is a disaster. But it's because I don't know what I want it to look like, because it was always the same. But, like, I have, like, baby stuff up. Not, like, baby stuff up, but, like, I have things that I had up when I was, like, a teenager. And it's like, really? Like, come on. Like, and it's fine, you know, but it's just not that it's not me anymore, but it's not what I want. Like, it's not adult looking, and I want adult looking things. Like, you know, I have a chest over there, and it's super sad because I have so much stuff that was in that chest, and all of it, I'll show you at the end of the video, all of it was a distraction from my emotions and my pain. And if you see how much shit is over there, and there's more in my living room, if you see what you're going to, when you see, like, how sad it is, like, to see Hold on. Okay. Shit. If you would see stuff like that, like how badly, like if you see, when you're going to see that stuff, you're going to understand how bad it was that I was actually going through, and like you're going to see how bad, like, I didn't want to feel it. And now I have to. And it's worse now because I didn't do it with all the other things up to this point, but I love who I became because of it. But my friend that came with me, when he sees me now, I don't really see him anymore because of certain circumstances, and I understand, and it's fine. Like, I'm good with it. Like, it should have been like that before, but he had to grow into it or whatever. But when he was seeing me before we stopped seeing each other, but if I needed him, he still would be there no matter who said what. And that's a lot of things that people don't do. Like, they don't do that. Like, because I was such a huge part in his life, and he never will have anybody in his life ever again that's like me, even though they try. And I actually tried helping them so they would be. So he would have the next best thing. But because I made such an impact in his life, he'll always be there for me. Always. But then when he started seeing me after I didn't see him for like a year, the way he would look at me, it was totally different. Like, you know, he's just like, it was just like wrong place, wrong time. Right person, wrong time. You know what I mean? But it happens for a reason. People are indecisive because they don't know which way to go in life. You know, they're scared they're going to make the wrong decisions. I have learned that there is no wrong way to go. There is no wrong decision. Because every path that you take is going to come out as a lesson you had to learn. A cycle you had to break. Something that you needed to learn about yourself. A karmic situation. Or maybe even a soulmate. See? Maybe even a soulmate. It doesn't have to be, you know, your twin flame or a karmic situation if you want that, you know. I don't like karmic situations or relationships. Those are the toxic ones that you're supposed to learn from the most. Never mind, I'm not going to say that. But, man. And that's another thing, like, if you don't know who you are, you will get codependent with that person to find out who you are. But then you become them. And you agree with, oh yeah, I like that. Oh yeah, I like that. And then you're like, but you don't. You know what I mean? Or they say they do and they're miserable and make it you not like it. It's like if you love somebody and you don't like something that the other person likes, you do it for them because you care about them. And it's vice versa. Like, say I wanted to do a pottery class with my partner and he was like, are you serious? Or a museum that I was really interested in. You know, one, you don't know if you might end up liking it and it's a new experience. Two, if you love that person, you will just do it with a smile on your face. And vice versa. Alright, I'm going to end this video. I think I said everything that I would say with remembering. Yeah? But I actually have to go do a reading and then I have shit to do. Alright. Well, you guys have a good day. I hope this helped. Get out of codependency and don't tolerate shit. And I know, well, I don't know because I've never been in the position, but I acknowledge the fact that it's harder said than done when you are married, you have kids with somebody, you rely on your partner for money. You know what I mean? Like, it's not going to be that easy to just get up and go and have a new apartment and, whatever. But sometimes you have to start over and build a new foundation for yourself. But that's the best way to transform and grow and become a stronger person. And for the people out there that are the chosen ones, you are the ones that have to go through the most shit. You are the ones that have to heal right away before the Great Awakening, because we're the ones that are supposed to help other people awaken. We're the ones that are supposed to help people with their ascensions. We are the ones that are supposed to be the light workers. We are the light to show people that are in the dark how to find the light. You're a lighthouse. You're supposed to attract people that need you. You're not supposed to hold back your gifts for another person that is not treating you well, that is not appreciating you. And once you're gone, trust and believe they will regret it. They will. If you are that kind of person that is unforgettable, and you know that you're unforgettable because nobody else can be like you, and you're the chosen one. You are the chosen one. And that's what it comes down to. And you're going to know. If you question yourself and you have an idea that maybe you are, you are. Shine your light. That's what we're here to do. The more you shine your light, the more you're helping people. It's abundance. You get credit for that from the universe. Like, it's not that cold out, but yesterday, if I wasn't so busy, I'd stop saying that because I'm like attracting being so busy. I need to stop. It's a subconscious thing though. I always have been. Because again, I was always the one doing everything in my relationships. Well, not whatever. But oh man. I love when that shit happens. They will regret it. Even if they were fucking a horrible person. Like, I'm serious. They really will. Like, you'll be like, yeah, never. They will. You'll never know it, and they'll never show it. Even if they get fucked up and drunk, they'll probably not. You'll either be blocked or, like, something where they're able to restrain themselves from messaging. Like, it's crazy. But you are unforgettable. And if somebody that knows that can't respect your boundaries, they will fight you on it. But you know. When you know how much you've done for a person and they didn't appreciate it, when you're gone, nobody else is going to do that. Like the person that, my friend that did the dog thing and everything. He never had somebody help him. He never had anybody support him. He never had anybody that would show him what love feels like. And I don't mean feeling in love, but just love in general. Like, and he was younger than me, and I'm a very motherly person, so I would take care of him if he was sick. But he did the same thing for me. It was a vice versa thing. And it's not, so it's like, I can't even look at that and complain in other ways where I would with other relationships. You know what I mean? It's different. It's weird. It really is. Because it's like it's crazy. Like, I think about it. I'm like, I'll be like, this person did this and this and this. And I'm like, but it's weird about this one because we weren't in a relationship. But it was just whatever. But the fact is that when somebody doesn't understand what it feels like to be loved and they don't understand their emotions and they don't understand and they're in a toxic relationship, good luck. Unless they Unless they want to change for the better for themselves because they realize they don't want to be in a karmic toxic relationship, there are still lessons for them to grow. Let them grow. Let them go. If you don't let them go, they will not grow. You cannot make them grow for them. Let them go. If they come back, it was meant to be. Because nobody can take what's yours. You already signed the contract before you came in this world. You cannot, somebody else, nothing else can take away what is yours. What was meant for you. What was fated. What was your destiny. Nobody. Nothing. 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 But karma can come out of it. Good or bad. But I'm talking about bad. Duality, man. Good or bad. But the karma can come from, I mean, we're spiritual beings living in a human experience. So our spirit can sign the contract of they wanted this, and that. They wanted to learn these lessons, and this is how they wanted the outcome. This is how they wanted their relationships to be, so they could. That's how we plan our fucking parents. We pick who we want to be our parents, so we know how we're going to be conditioned and how we know how we're going to ascend to be able to help more people, but also to clear karma from our past. Other people have been in your life before. Just, they can either be in a different form, but they're still showing you the same lesson that they're supposed to be there for. So, just take that into consideration when you meet somebody and you're like, why does this person seem familiar? Why does this person feel like deja vu? Why do I feel like I already know this person? Because you already do. You know the energy, not the person. The energy that is coming from them. But they're trying to show you something. And you could have had karma with them, their energy, and they need to, or you need to make amends in this lifetime. And if you don't, you're going to have to learn it again in the next. It's just how it works. But we pick. So say you're a murderer in this lifetime, most likely, next lifetime, you're going to be somebody that gets murdered. Karma.